What's up, Vinyl Community? It's your boy Chris coming at you live as always from the Man Cave. Drop a video on you real quick. I'm going back a few months. As soon as I announce to you where this is from, you guys are going to be like, oh, damn, that took long enough. But so a couple of months ago, it would have been the last weekend of August. My boy Matt had kind of dropped us all a line like a month or so prior, letting us know that in Asheville, North Carolina, there was going to be a record fair on the weekend of August 26th. And because my family and my family owns a cabin in that portion of North Carolina. It's, free room and board, and always a cool deal. We stay at the cabin, which is a great place. It's my favorite place on earth, honestly. And anything that's going on in the area, frees up more time and more money or whatever to drop on an event such as that. So, myself, Matt, Josh, and a recent buddy of mine that you guys haven't seen on just yet, Kevin, all headed up to Western North Carolina for the weekend. And went up there, had a great time, hung out, enjoyed some food, didn't cook a fucking thing. Because obviously, I'm not one to go on vacation and cook. I mean, I might go on vacation and drop a steak on the grill, but that's as strenuous as I'm going to get. We had, Joey's Pancake House for breakfast twice. We didn't cook shit. We had pizza and wings one night. Josh and I had barbecue on the way up. But it was a great time had by all. I'm just now getting to it with you guys. So Josh and I decided to take the Friday off and head up there as early as we could. We wanted to be up there for lunch, which we accomplished. We were up there for lunch. Kevin and Matt had some loose ends they had to tie up before they could make it up there. And then once they were up there, we ended up, Josh and I ended up doubling back and hitting a lot of the stores that we had already hit again. But, we wanted those guys to have the exact same time we had. So we get up there, trying not to have a 30-minute video here. We get up there, and first store we always hit when we get into town is Harvest. Harvest Records, Asheville, North Carolina. Shout out, you guys. I grabbed one record and an ass of cassette tapes. I'll show you the record first. It's an album I've owned about 7 or 8 copies of. It's insane, but it's one I'll get and I'll trade and I'll get and I'll trade because it's one that holds its value so well. But it's one of my favorite rock bands, period. But it's Pink Floyd, The Wall. I don't have to show you guys the vinyl or anything like that. You guys are familiar with the record. But I'm going to keep this one. It's a beautiful copy, both LPs. Absolutely gorgeous. And I'm gotten to the point now where I've gotten so many of the jazz records that I want. I mean, there's still some, oh my God, holy shitters that I'll probably never obtain. But for the most part, I've gotten a great portion of what I was after. So now it's time, honestly, for me to go back and start reacquiring a lot of records like this. Which sucks is because the first time I think I ever bought a copy of this album like 15 years ago, I think I paid like $6 for it. So now this is a $40 copy. So that sucks. But other than that, fuck it. And Harvest always has a really good selection of cassette tapes, always. So I always go through their cassette tapes every time I'm there. And so this time around, I found an ass of them. Good news is I don't think they price a certain one any more than $10. And that's going to be for your rarest ones. Your oh my God common stuff is. So I go through and I start grabbing a couple. And the shitty thing is I forgot the couple of them I forgot. Then Josh gets involved and he starts going through and he starts crying, hey man, you need this one, you need this one. And then I start looking at them like, shit, I do need them. And so before you know it, I'd spend an inordinate amount of money on cassette tapes. First one I was thrilled to have is I've Got That Old Feeling by Alison Krauss. If you find a copy of that album on vinyl, it's a couple $100. Next up is Dylan, if he watched, which I know he doesn't, he's too busy. Creed, Human Clay. It was like a $5 cassette tape. Say what you will about Creed, but I love that album. Alan Jackson, Here in the Real World. Great album. Just fantastic album. Then I had to double up with Don't Rock the Jukebox. Those are a couple more that if you have them on vinyl, and I used to have them both on vinyl. Used to. And then, you know, they became valuable for sale fodder to grab some jazz grill that I have in my collection. Next up is Dwight Yoakam This Time. Can't remember what's on that. Pocket of a 1,000 Miles from Nowhere is on here. Ain't That Long Yet is on there. And that's a couple of my favorite songs by them. And then Brooks and Dunn. She's Not the Cheating Kind. Oh, I love that song. That's a great song. I probably grabbed it just off that. And then next up is Clint Black, No Time to Kill. Grab that. Wasn't but a few bucks. And George Strait, Lead On. George Strait's my favorite country artist. I've probably told you guys that before. And then finally, Toad the Wet Sprocket, Fear. I love Toad the Wet Sprocket, and I love that record. I'm not even sure you can get that on vinyl. Yeah, it's got Walk on the Ocean is on there. Man, All I Want's on there. That's a great album. But I had forgotten that I had grabbed a lot of those, if I'm being honest with you guys. It's been a little while. I've been so busy, I haven't looked at a lot of these. Next up. Went into another record store on that same strip. Damn, I have forgotten the name of it. It's right down the same strip as Harvest. I want to give them a shout. But I ended up grabbing a few great records in there. Hopefully it'll come to me in a minute. Peter Tosh, Legalize It. Original 76 press. I love this album. It's one of my favorite reggae albums, period. It's my second copy of the album. It's cleaner than my first copy, so I'm happy about that. Next up is my third copy that I've owned of Tom Petty's Full Moon Fever. Original 89 press. Once owned a completely sealed press that I got for 50 bucks. This was a not sealed press I got for 40 bucks. So that just shows you that vinyl inflation is real, just like every other kind of inflation. And then next up, I grabbed Queen's Sheer Heart Attack. I had gotten to the point where I had no more Queen left in my collection. And I grabbed Queen's Sheer Heart Attack, and I grabbed Queen 2. Very thrilled to have both of them original pressings of both. And I've really been feeling this artist the last several years. And I didn't have this album that he dropped last year, so I decided to grab it because I listened to it on Spotify all the time at work. And it was just one that I just hadn't grabbed on vinyl. For one, it was expensive. That's a triple vinyl. It's Tyler Childers' new album. Well, his now not most recent album, his album before that, the current new release. Was Can I Take My Hounds to Heaven? Again, triple vinyl. I love Tyler Childers. Great singer-songwriter. One of my favorite country artists in years. It's a shame, it's because all the artists that I seem to like, they don't get played on the radio. But I don't listen to modern radio anyway. I listen to Spotify, so fuck it. And then next up, it's a couple. I got this one from Earth Fair Records. It's a great shop on the outskirts of Asheville, North Carolina. And it's one that is probably going to show on the video. Anyway, it's currently for sale. I'll put it to you that way. Because I just stumbled upon a promo copy. I had never seen this album. And then I get it in outskirts of Asheville, North Carolina at Earth Fair Records. And then my boy Marcus, DJ Parry, presents me a promo copy. So I'm keeping the promo copy. So this one's currently for sale. But rest assured, I was thrilled to grab it at the time. And because of the price of it, it was the only record that I grabbed there. There was a couple others that had stroked my interest, but I was trying to save up for the record fair itself. So that was the only one that I bought that day. All right, so now everything that I'm showing you from here on out is from the record fair. from different vendors. I can't remember the names of the vendors or anything like that, which I hate. I wish I would have. This one is Alison Krauss, Too Late to Cry. I was thrilled to find Alison Krauss in the bins. Thrilled. The lady who was there, like, we high-fived over it. She was like, yeah, can you believe you found an original Alison Krauss in the bins? I'm like, no, I really can't believe I found an original Alison Krauss in the bins. The original Alison Krauss records, of course, they come on at the end of the age of cassettes and toward the beginning of the stage of whatever of CDs, and absolutely at the end of the vinyl thing, the first end anyway. So thrilled to have it. I've already thrown it on a couple of times. It's man. Oh, I kept the slip. Old Gold Records, an American vinyl company. So they have their own suite in Asheville. Okay, well, cool. I'm glad I kept that. So, Old Gold Records. Cool beans. Next one I grabbed, I love anything Dolly Parton. I did not have this one. So, it's Dolly Parton, Just the Way I Am. I love Dolly Parton. So, that's all I need to explain for that one. The next one that I grabbed was from a booth called Vinyl Asylum. Located in Factory Antique Mall in Verona, Virginia. Voted #1 record store in Virginia. I seriously doubt that. I've been to some great record stores in Virginia. But it's the best of Dolly Parton. I love Dolly. I'm going to always say that. Next up, I grabbed these two at the same booth. But I'm going to save them for the end, honestly, because one of them comes with a story. I grabbed this one at the same booth that I grabbed the Dolly Parton best of. It's Blackbird by Donald Byrd. Grabbed it. It's weird. It's because it's one of only 2 jazz albums that I grabbed the entire weekend. But guys, I guess it's because of the location. I mean, you're not expecting really to be overwhelmed with the jazz in Asheville, North Carolina. That's probably it. Probably expecting to be overwhelmed with country and Western, and we were, but managed to grab a couple. Grabbed this one in the Alice. So this is a great record for those of you familiar with it. The next up is you don't find very much OG hip hop at all, and first time I'd ever seen an OG copy of this one. And I went ahead and grabbed a copy. It was an album that was, I think, I heard for the first time when I was 11 years old, 12 years old, and I probably had no business hearing it at that age, but my parents were never really the types to scale back what we heard. Their basic thing is, their words, and don't repeat them. And as long as we don't get called to the school, you're good. So it worked out okay. Me, my brother, my sister, we're not criminals. The album is The Dogfather by Snoop Doggy Dogg. Well, then Snoop Doggy Dogg. But it's an original pressing. And again, you don't come across original hip-hop pressings. You just don't. So, very thrilled to have this. Executive producer Suge Knight. And I hope he likes prison food. And of course, what's funny about that is Snoop Dogg, of course, now owns Death Row Records. The label in which, he put this out on and screwed him out of a shitload of money when he had the #1 album in the country. So, the next couple I found at the same booth. I'm going to save one for the very end. One, because I love the fucking record. And 2, because I've got a great story behind it. And I love this story. First is, I love this artist, but I got rid of all of his records because they hold his record, their value so well. I got rid of all of them for jazz. Now, time to go back and reacquire. In step, Stevie Ray Vaughan, Double Trouble. Love the record. Absolutely love it. It's a wonderful record. But I found it, and sitting right beside it, I found The Proclaimers, Sunshine on Leith. Original pressing. Was not expecting to see a vinyl copy of this one out in the wild, not at all. All right, so I'll give you a fun story on this one. All right, so when we were kids, my brother and I, this is before my sister was even born. When we were kids, my dad in his old 1987 F-150 had a cassette tape of this album. but I still had never heard this album in its entirety, and there's a reason why. Because the very first track on this album is I'm Gonna Be 500 Miles. All right. So my dad loved and still loves that song. So my dad would throw the cassette tape in and turn it up as loud as he could and always would sing it. And he would try his best with his southern ass, would try his best to hit the vocals to this track. And the British, or I'm not sure where these guys are from, honestly, if I'm being honest, accent. And then when I wake up, well, I know I'm gonna be the man who wakes up next to you. That one. And I would walk 500 miles, and I would walk 500 more just to be the man who walks 1,000 miles. That one. Da, da, da. I'm not fucking with you guys. He'd sing the whole song, and then when the song was over, he would rewind the tape back to the very beginning, because that's all he had to do, because it was track one, and he'd play that bastard again. And when it was over, he'd play that bitch again. And because me and my brother also really liked the song, and also enjoyed the time with my dad, we'd let him do it, and it was fine. It didn't matter to us. We had a lot of fun with it. I'd probably heard that song 10,000 times in my life. Like again, in his old blue straight drive 1987 F-150. Good times. So when I saw that was my find of the weekend. And then I threw the record on, and oh my God, what a fucking good record. It's such a fucking good record. It's so good, and I had never heard it. I had never heard it in its entirety because my dad always played, the 500 Mile song. He'd always played it. And now, I mean, it sounds great, and I'll never sell this record. You know what I mean? I will never sell this bitch. Man, I love memories. Memories are what makes this whole thing worth it to me. So, anyway, that was our trip to Asheville, North Carolina for the record fair, and to several other shops. And what a great weekend, wonderful times. I can't wait to the next boys weekend. I can't wait to the next trip. And until next time, and until next video, you guys keep dropping that needle.